She was stranded on the side of the road, a single mom with no help in sight, until a black stranger stepped in to fix her car. But what she said after he helped? No one saw it coming. Sometimes, life's most powerful stories don't happen in courtrooms or on stages. They happen quietly, on the side of the road, between strangers. This is the story of a single mom in need, a kind black man who stopped to help, and a question that would change all of their lives forever. What started with a broken-down car became something no one expected. It was a cold afternoon in a quiet suburban neighborhood, one of those days where everything feels still, as if time is waiting for something to happen. On a small roadside near a gas station, a white single mother stood helpless next to her stalled car, her young son tugging at her coat, confused and cold. The engine wouldn't start, her phone battery had died, and she was already late picking up groceries she could barely afford. She looked around, hoping someone, anyone, might stop. Dozens of cars drove by. Some glanced. Most didn't. People are busy after all. But then, from across the street, a man noticed her. He wasn't dressed like a mechanic, just jeans, boots, and a hoodie. A black man in his mid-30s, quiet, calm, and walking home from his second job. He could have kept going. He could have ignored her like everyone else. But something about the scene stopped him. He crossed the road and asked if she needed help. She hesitated at first. The world teaches women, especially white women, to be cautious. But something in his voice reassured her. He wasn't pushy. He didn't expect anything. He just wanted to help. With no tools and no flashlight, he opened the hood, rolled up his sleeves, and got to work. Her son watched closely as the man explained what he was doing in the simplest terms, making the boy feel part of the process. Within 20 minutes, the car was running again. No tow truck, no charge, no judgment. She was shocked. This wasn't just a fix. It was a rescue. She offered him money. He refused. She offered him a ride. He declined. He was already walking away when the boy, about 7 years old, ran after him and said, "Thank you, sir." The man smiled and knelt down to shake his hand. That's when the mother said something that stopped him in his tracks. "Do you want to be my son's father?" At first, it felt like a joke, an awkward joke said in the rush of emotion. But her eyes said she was serious. Not in a romantic way, not even in a dramatic love-at-first-sight moment, but in a raw, vulnerable way, the kind that only a woman who's been alone too long could say. She wasn't asking for a boyfriend. She was asking for something more human: connection, presence, protection. He stood silent for a moment, unsure what to say. He wasn't looking to be anyone's hero. He had his own problems, his own history, and his own hesitations. But when he looked into the eyes of that little boy, who hadn't had a father figure since the day he was born, something shifted. The mother quickly apologized, embarrassed by what she said. But he smiled gently and said, "Let's start with lunch." That day turned into a friendship, the kind that builds slowly, through trust and time. They talked about life. She told him about the father who left before her son was born. He told her about his younger brother, who grew up without a dad. They both knew what absence felt like. Weeks passed. He kept showing up, not as a romantic partner at first, but as a consistent presence. Helping with school pickups when she had to work overtime, fixing a leaky sink, attending the boys' soccer games. Not because he had to, but because he wanted to. Eventually, their bond grew into something deeper. Love didn't happen overnight. It wasn't the fairy tale kind. It was real, earned, and grounded. Her son began calling him Pops long before they made anything official. Today, they live together as a family. And when people ask how they met, they laugh. Because what began as a stalled car turned into a second chance at life, not just for her, but for all three of them. This story isn't about grand gestures. It's about the quiet strength of kindness. About a black man who showed up when no one else did. About a white woman who dared to see beyond fear and judgment. And about a boy who gained a father not by blood, but by heart. Sometimes the smallest acts lead to the biggest changes. And sometimes the people we least expect turn out to be the ones we've needed all along. In a world where people are too busy to care, one man's kindness rewrote the future of a small family. He didn't do it for recognition. He did it because it was right. And in return, he found something he never saw coming: a home, a purpose, and a place to belong. Remember, sometimes the greatest love stories don't start with romance. They start with compassion. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real stories that remind us what humanity looks like.